first regular scheduled city council meeting. Today is Wednesday, November 5th, 2014, and it is 6:02 p.m. I do call this meeting to order, and as always, we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And we'll ask Sandy to read the clerk's open meeting statement for us.
This meeting and all other meetings of the Common Council are open to the public. Proper notice has been posted and given to the press in accordance with Wisconsin state statutes, so the citizens may be aware of the time, place, and agenda of this meeting.
And would you also take roll for us, Sandy?
Ryan Smith?
Here.
Steve Hackett?
Here.
Deb Fensky? Here. Paul Hagan?
Here.
Alan Keeland?
Here.
Scott Perchatsky?
Here.
Dave Peterson?
Here.
Paul Mayo?
Here.
John Lockwood? Jillian Peterson? Here. And Eric Olson?
Here.
9 present. We have a quorum.
Thanks, Sandy. Next, you have some items on the consent agenda. We do have a consent agenda in your packet. There are no additions to that. Is there any item on the consent agenda that council would like to see moved from the consent agenda to the regular agenda? If not, we'd be looking for a motion to approve it.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Hackett, second by Keelan, that we approve the consent agenda as printed. Discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carried. A regular agenda, I have just one item that we actually need to delete from tonight's meeting, and that is number 7, letter C, which is the South Park Future Project Overview. That's Aaron is at a seminar these next 2 days, so he wasn't able to be here tonight, Aaron Johnson. So we're going to put that on a future meeting. So that's the only thing that I know of. There are no handouts, no. Sandy. So again, with that one that one change, we would need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion by Keelan, second by Hagan, that we approve the regular agenda with that one, with 7C being deleted from our agenda for tonight. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carried. Under non-agenda items and announcements, we have a thank you note from Treasurer Gene Peterson. That's in your packet on page 31. That's informational purposes only. Public input. If we have anybody in the audience that would like to speak to the council on a non-agenda item, they can step up to the podium and give their name and address. Anybody that would like to give us give some discussion on a non-agenda item? All right, under okay, I'm on order here now. Did I do that wrong? Did I say 7 before that we were deleting, and we're actually deleting 9? C, I'm sorry.
We knew what you meant. Yeah. We knew what you meant.
Why didn't anybody correct me?
We knew what you meant. We've worked with you long enough.
You know what I meant, yeah. Okay. All right, under new business, then we have the Waupaca online net pricing structure changes, and we have Josh coming out from behind the camera for us.
Okay, we've nearly got our first round of upgrades done to the Waupaca online system, which means we can offer most of our customers a lot more speed than they're able to get right now, and we're at the point where we need to review the pricing structure and how we price that out to be able to offer that and charge accordingly for that. And going into this, I think the 2 biggest complaints that we get out there is our speeds aren't that high, and that our pricing, some of our pricing is too high. And the plan in your packet which starts on page 32, is designed to kind of address both of those concerns. Right now, we're at a point where we feel this is the right time to try to get this out there, try to make these upgrades. We've got 4.5 POPs that aren't upgraded all the way, 4.5 of our towers, and those serve such a small percentage of customers, it's not really a big factor, and those will be ones we'll be finishing next spring. Currently, we offer 3 tiers of service, 768K, meg and a half, and 3 meg service. And just with how varied this wireless internet can be, we want to move away from having specific tiers and letting our customers tell us how much speed they want. So a customer could go, set me up with 6 meg, or I just need 2. They can. What I'm proposing is they can choose what they want, and as long as we can get them that amount, we'll serve them, or we'll tell them what's the most they can get and put them that way. In general, we feel most of our customers will find success around 5, maybe 6 meg service. That's what we're going to advertise, but if we can do more for a customer, we will. Through some testing, we've got some that could get 10 or 12 meg right now, and those would be evaluated on a case-to-case basis. But page 32 of your packet shows kind of what this new structure, what the new pricing would look like. Currently and going forward, we kind of have our service split into 4 areas, in-city and out-of-city, and then each of those split residential and business. And the biggest reason the out-of-city pricing is more is it costs us more to have customers outside of the city. That's more wear and tear, more gas on a vehicle to get out there. That's more of my staff's time to service those customers. Most of those customers are connected to a tower that's outside the city, and that costs us resources as well, so that's why there's that price difference. And so that's kind of new. Right now, everyone just gets a flat rate, so we're splitting up the bill a little more, so they'd pay their connection fee, which is seen on top. We'd continue to charge the $5 a month maintenance fee. That's something that customers are charged right now, and that covers everything from the cost of equipment, insurance on it. If a customer ever has an antenna or radio that dies, we replace that free of charge as long as they're a customer. It covers if the cabling ever needs to get replaced, or if they need their equipment moved or upgrade to something better. That's what that takes care of. And the other new part is this bandwidth fee. I'm proposing that we charge $3 per 1 meg of service that they ask for. So if a customer wants 5 meg of service, that would be a $15 bandwidth charge on top of their connection and maintenance fee. And then below are our setup and other various fees. And the only change down there, I'm proposing we lower our setup fee for customers who pay in full on the first bill by $4 a month from $99 to $95, just to make it a little more competitive based off what's going on out there. And on the bottom of 32 are just 2 examples I worked up what a total bill would look like for an in-city or out-of-city customer. On the next page in your packet is just a comparison of what our pricing looks like right now, and then what it looks like under the new structure. And what we're going to do, our 768K tier, that's our lowest tier right now. We don't have many customers taking advantage of that. We're just going to grandfather, I believe there's 5 or 6 customers. We're going to grandfather them at that price as long as they stay there. And if they ever leave, they can't go back to it. All of our current 1.5 meg customers, we'd upgrade them to 2 meg service. And to fit into this new structure, they'd actually save 95 cents per month. So we're going to give them more value for about what they're paying right now, actually a small reduction. And our current 3 meg customers, we'd upgrade all of them to 4 meg service as part of it, and they'd actually pay 5 more cents a month, and that's not to make us more money, that's just to fit them nicely into this new pricing structure. So in essence, all of our customers are going to be paying pretty much what they're paying right now, but they're going to get a small boost in speed with the opportunity to tell us how much more they want at $3 per additional meg per month. So that's just kind of what that looks like. The following page, just a comparison. By making this change, we'd actually be out $151 a month in revenue with that 95-cent drop to fit them onto this pricing structure. But we feel we've got probably 20 people for sure that we know will take more speed from us. They've told us they want more speed, and as soon as we pick up the phone and tell them it's here, they'll do it, and I don't think that's going to be an issue. And then the last page is just the sample letter that would go out to our customers to explain these changes. So just kind of the timeline we're looking at, if we get this approved tonight, we're going to start letting customers know starting tomorrow that they can ask for more speed. and we'll get that set up for them. This letter would go out on their December 1st bill to notify them. And talking with Tina, it's very reasonable starting January 1st to have this new pricing structure in place. So any customers that contact us between now and then wanting more speed, we'll boost it up. They'll pay what they're paying right now through the end of the year, in essence, kind of get a couple-week trial period to make sure it's what they want. And whatever they're at the start of the year is what they'd be billed for moving forward. So this really just opens us up to offer higher speed, let the customers choose what they want instead of falling into one of our tiers, and we'll get the max possible to any customer that wants the max for their location and situation. And I think this gives us a little bit better value and kind of takes care of, I think, our two biggest issues, speed and price. So any questions or comments?
I would move for approval of the new pricing structure for waupacaonline.net.
Second.
Motion by Mayo, second by Fensky, that we approve of the new pricing structure for waupacaonline.net. Any discussion? Sandy will call the roll.
Scott Perchatsky,
Aye.
Deb Fensky,
Aye.
Ellen Keeland,
Aye.
Eric Olson,
Aye.
Jillian Peterson,
Aye.
Dave Peterson,
Aye.
Steve Hackett,
Aye.
Paul Mayo,
Aye.
Paul Hagan,
Aye.
and that makes 9 ayes. Motion carried.
Thanks.
Thanks, Josh. All right, let's move on then. We have the South Park Phase 1, the closeout report, and Brennan, that's yours, huh?
Thank you, Mayor and members of council. Last year, the council allocated a total of $732,650 towards the construction of the South Park project. That's actually in addition to the later proposal that was presented to you guys for the back patio that was included earlier this year. I'm happy to announce that all but one bill is in right now on the project, and we actually, for the construction portion of it, had a savings of just over $33,000 on the project. A portion of those savings were actually occurred because of city crew work. The city crew, we allocated originally $16,000 out of the storm sewer and $16,000 out of the water utility for construction of utilities out at South Park. We had a savings about $7,800 in the storm sewer and about $4,100 in the water utility out of those projects. So I'll call it the true project construction savings for the entire project was about $21,300, which I'm actually happy to announce on that. We were able to, again, see some savings by bidding this project out in packages as we did, city crews, with due to having not as many capital projects this year. I want to give credit out to John Edelbeck and his crew for all the work that they did out there, Roger Hanson included. With this project, they took on significant portions of that project with the utility work, the roofing work, and that did allow for some savings in the project, which I was happy to see. And we were able to see some other savings and see some additions through some value engineering as we went through the project and as we closed it out. We had a discussion internally. I went back and looked at the grant that was applied for by Henry and staff actually before I got here, and we had originally allocated about $38,000 worth of staff work towards that project. That was included within the grant for reimbursement. The 80-20 split. Because of all the work that the crews did out there, we actually went over that, and we had approximately $50,000, a little bit over $50,000 worth of actually city time, equipment and maintenance, and along with personnel work out there. So staff is recommending that the $21,299.01 go back into the general fund to offset the additional costs that we utilize for the staff for that project. Are there any questions?
I'll have one question for you, Brennan. Is that money all from grant money or city money, or is some of this private donation money that we're giving back to the city? Did you consider that, or? And
It's
they
all,
may-
it-
they
it's,
may agree to it, I don't know.
I would say it's all the above. I mean, I mean, between the city council, when they originally, allocated the funds, you know, we're looking at, for instance, Mr. Rick Johnson, you know, he allocated $15,000 towards the project. We had Friends of the Park that allocated some money towards the project, so, you know, in essence, I mean, that was money that was allocated towards the project. We haven't split it out. We never, you know, through the financing, we actually never, identified that, okay, you know, 4,000 of this bill is gonna go to Rick Johnson. It was just money that all those individuals, private donors, as well, allocated and put towards the project. You know, we had that discussion internally, actually. We were trying to figure out, you know, whether or not we try to reimburse a couple of those accounts if possible, but, at the end of the day, due to, you know, the additional staff time that was conducted out there from our crew, and everything else, we felt that it was best just to, I'll use the word reimburse the general fund for the costs that we use for the staff out there.
Anybody else have any questions?
Yeah, I do.
Go ahead.
Can that money go into a non-lapsing account for future, anything that would come up for the park?
If you wanted to allocate it, sure.
I'm just asking, you know.
I would, I guess I'd leave that up to Henry, and, you know, if that's a discussion we want to take a look at later on. Unfortunately, Aaron's not here tonight, you know, to, I think, discuss what the future phases are for South Park, so that might be a discussion that we could bring up at that time as well. I mean, I guess know that, you know, we had a savings, which I'm happy to see. And again, right now, we were looking at just putting it back into the general fund to offset the cost, but ultimately, at the end of the day, it's up to the city council how they would like to, you know, utilize those savings. You know, the way, that, again, that staff looked at it, we kind of expended that money because of all the staff time out there. You know, again, when we look at all the staff time that we allocated towards the project, and it was put back into the grant reimbursement, it was over $50,000. So it was actually over what we originally had budgeted for that.
There's another related question, excuse me, and I don't have the answer yet from the DNR staff. If you remember, as part of our local match, we had some land that was going to be donated to the stewardship, you know, the trust, and that was valued, I'm off the top of my head, like 52,000 or 54,000.
52. It
Was
was
it
52.
52? So the question to them is, since we had the extra labor and we physically put labor, can we exchange that out for the land donation? It seems reasonable to me. I couldn't find anything in the rules that said no. So what that does, if they agree to that, then we've got that donation at 52,000 at some future time. It could be 10 years from now that we could pull the trigger on to match another grant in the future that we may choose to. So that was sort of an offshoot benefit to the extra work that we did there. And again, I hope to know it by the end of the year. I mean, they've had my stuff for, I don't know, about going on 3 weeks, our final pay request. So I hope to be able to report that to you here soon.
I do want to just say that in your packet, you have kind of the summary sheets and everything else from all the financials, where all the bills went to. On the third sheet, which is 11 by 17, you will see a big red box. That's for advanced construction, and we are withholding a little bit over $4,000. They seem to not want to be paid right now. So I don't know. We've been, for the last month and a half, been trying to get that answer. They still need to submit some documentation to MSA. But we are, you know, that has accounted for the savings as well. So we are holding that at the moment, hopefully to get that paid for by the end of the year. But
Peggy had a question.
I was just trying to get this straight in my own mind as far as the labor that was expended by the city was already covered in another budget of either Park and Rec or Public Works or Sewer and Water, correct? That labor, you didn't expend any additional labor to what was already there in those departments for labor, correct?
There is so much money in each budget for labor, 80 hours for everyone, and some overtime. they worked on this project specifically, and they booked their time to the project. So it was no extra money, any extra budgeted money. It was budgeted money that they, instead of doing A, they were working on our project.
Right.
And I think that was the point that Brendan was trying to make, is because we didn't have a lot of capital projects this last year, it afforded them the opportunity to focus on this project. And I think we got a really nice product out of it, and I don't think I've heard one negative about the project. But, yeah, gotcha. Yeah.
Scott.
I guess
Sorry.
I guess I kind of would like, if it was donated money specifically, it's always going to go to this project and what other monies we've had here. I guess I'd like to see, like Debbie said, that it should still, if there was a savings, it should go towards the next phases, because we all know there's more phases coming, and I guess any additional dollars built up ahead of time would certainly help, I guess, in my opinion anyway.
I mean, we can certainly do it. I mean, if the council remembers, the council allocated $35,000 earlier this year. I want to say back in roughly April, May time for that back patio, which was actually additional monies that the donors had accumulated. So, I mean, I think that's reasonable. I mean, I think, again, when we talked internally, I think, again, we had that discussion of how, does it just go back into the general fund, or does it get, again, it's up to the council, and if that's the council's direction, I'll speak on Aaron's behalf. I think he would be happy that it would go towards future phases of that project. We do have potentially another phase coming next year, so that could go to offset some of those projects for next year if that's the council's direction at the end of the day.
Paul.
Yeah, I would echo Deb and Scott's remarks. I think this should go into either a non-lapsing or another park fund, or perhaps into capital projects, something similar to that. I think the best use would be to keep it in the Parks Department.
I think the city did it above their share too, so I don't know if it's a 50-50 breakdown or something, you could do 10,000 here and 10,000. I don't know if the breakdown makes sense.
I just don't want to see them lose it, and especially because it wasn't like 10,000 of this dollars going for this and this and this. Some of that money still could be donated, and I'm sure the people did not want that to go to the general fund. It was donated for the park. So that's my only reason in saying this. I don't want to see them lose it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they didn't donate it to the city general fund, they donated it towards South Park, whatever phase will come.
Yeah, Steve, go ahead.
Regardless whether the money was donated or not, the city spent more than 50,000 of our money towards labor and whatever else they were doing. So I don't see anything wrong with giving it back to the city, or giving it to the city, because that isn't going to cover what the city put into it.
But we would have spent that money anyway on Project A instead of
But
Project
they
South
weren't.
Park.
They were doing it at the park.
Yeah, but
Anybody else have any other comments? Any other comments? Okay, what we would be looking for is an approval of this memorandum, I guess, that Brennan has put in your packet, which is on page 36? Page 36. If you approve the memorandum as is, that money would just go back into the general fund, which means basically that we would have $21,000 less in labor costs than what we had budgeted for the year.
Mayor, could we perhaps split the two issues, vote on approving the memorandum, and then vote on where we want that money to go?
We can do whatever we want.
first we gotta vote on the
So,
memorandum.
yeah.
would make a motion to that effect then, that we split those, that we split the issue, vote on the memorandum, and then vote on where to put the money.
Okay, so, I'm sorry, is there a second to that?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Hagan and a second by Prochatsky. Now, let me make sure I understand this, that we're approving the memorandum, but not what we're gonna do with the money that's left over.
My motion would be to approve the memorandum without the direction of where the money goes, and we'll start with that, and then we can talk
Okay.
about.
Does everybody understand the motion? Sandy, you understand it? You gotta write it.
Without the last paragraph.
Got
What
it.
the transfer
But then
does.
But
Any discussion on that? Scott?
isn't that wrong though? Because if we approve the memorandum, it's already automatically gonna go to the general fund.
The
We
only thing
can't
that the memorandum is, what we're doing is that we're, sorry for interrupting you, but the way that I see this happening is that we're proving that we're accepting that
The project's-
$21,000 of money. We're just not saying where it's gonna
Okay,
go.
all right.
And the second motion will tell us
Okay.
where the money is going.
Okay.
I was gonna say simplified as we're approving the project savings of 21,229,01.
Okay. All right, any other discussion? All right, Sandy will call the roll.
Paul Mayo,
Aye.
Deb Fensky,
Aye.
Eric Olson,
Aye.
Dave Peterson,
Aye.
Scott Perchatsky,
Aye.
Steve Hackett,
Aye.
Paul Hagan,
Aye.
Jillian Peterson,
Aye.
and Alan Keeland.
Aye.
9 ayes, motion carried.
Okay, so now we have that $21,000 plus dollars. And we need to decide where we would like to put that.
Oh, I'd like to make a motion to put that in a non-lapsing account for the parks.
For the parks or for South Parks?
South Park, I'm sorry.
Okay, all right.
Second.
We have a motion by Fensky and a second by Prochatsky that we take the savings from this project and the amount of $21,229.01 and put it into a non-lapsing account for future South Park project. Is that right? Yep, does that sound good? Okay.
As long as Sandy can write it.
Got it.
Any discussion? Sandy will call the roll.
Scott Perchatsky,
Aye.
Deb Fensky,
Aye.
Alan Keeland,
Aye.
Jillian Peterson,
Aye.
Steve Hackett,
No.
Paul Hagan,
Aye.
Dave Peterson,
Aye.
Paul Mayo,
Aye.
and Eric Olson.
Aye.
8 ayes, 1 no, motion carried.
Right, thanks, Brad. Next, then we have a presentation about CDBG Housing Rehabilitation Revolving Loan Fund and the administrative changes. Chris is here for us.
Hi, thank you. The Housing Committee did meet already and discuss the fee structure change. Henry asked me to just give you all a quick update about the housing repair program that the city has. I don't know how many of you are even aware that the city has one. The city of Waupaca received awards in 2005 and 2008 of community development block grant funds. Those are federal funds, HUD funds, that are given to the state of Wisconsin. And then at that time, municipalities within the state applied for those funds. And the funds can be used for housing repairs, they can be used for home buyer assistance, they can also be used completely separately from what these funds are in regards to. They can be used for public facilities, which they used in Eastgate. They can also be used for economic development and for other special projects. So again, the awards were in 2005 and 2008, and to date, we've invested about $645,000 of those funds into properties within the city of Waupaca. So those funds can be used for roof work, siding, windows, doors, electrical, plumbing, insulation, foundation repair, all kinds of things. So they are loaned out to income eligible households as a 0% interest deferred loan to owner occupied properties, or a 2% simple interest monthly payment loan to rental properties. And then those loans, the owner occupied loans, are repaid when they sell the home, if it's no longer their primary full-time residence, or it's due in 30 years. That's when they are required to repay. Some paid back early when they refinanced or something like that, so we have had some of those loans already satisfied. So when the funds come back into the city, they're loaned back out again for those same housing repairs. The average loan through the city has been a little over $17,000. We do partner those funds with CAP Services funds. The average project cost is usually about $25,000. We currently have 3 projects within the city in progress and 1 application in progress, and that's for a rental property. Now, we are tentatively reserving the CDBG funds for an acquisition demolition project of an abandoned property. Henry and I are working on it. We just can't quite get the information that we need yet to actually acquire it. So if for some reason these 3 projects go through and the city funds aren't available, then we have plenty of funds through CAP Services to assist those households and still do the necessary repairs. So the reason that we needed to come to the Housing Committee and to the council is the way CAP Services has always been paid to administer these funds for the city is we had a 10% project management fee that was part of the loan to that property owner. So then when that loan was repaid, it came back to the city to be loaned back out. It's always been that way. I've been doing this for 20 years. We've always done it as percentage. Our logic behind it is if you have a smaller project, there's less administration. Larger project, more administration, make it more equitable. A couple years ago, we had a monitor from the state of Wisconsin come in and told us we cannot do it that way. They said, literally said, it does not have to be equitable. So what we are proposing, and has been reviewed by the Housing Committee and approved, is we will be charging to each project. Each completed project will be a $600 initial inspection fee and a $600 final inspection fee. And that will be included in the loan, and it will come back to the city. And then in addition to that, CAP Services will receive 5% of all monies that come back into the program. So that will be repaid loans and any bank interest there may be. I believe did you distribute this, Henry? The spreadsheet?
I don't know. It's not in there.
Oh, okay.
Just the agreement.
Oh, just the agreement, okay. Well, for example, if we had had this fee structure in place in 2013, we would have been paid $1,980.63. What we were actually paid based on that 10% project management fee was $2,233.90. So we were paid about $250 more than we will be paid on this new fee structure. It's going to be different every year because of the 5% admin. The thing I like to point out is that the 5% that will be paid to CAP Services from all repaid monies does not come back to the city. It will be paid out of the administrative line, and then it's gone. So it's going to slowly deplete the total fund. Again, that was another logic behind us doing it as that 10% project management fee that was included in that loan. So it was always the owner taking ownership of it, and it came back to the city to be loaned back out. But again, we've been told by the state of Wisconsin that we cannot do that, that we can only charge them the fees. You can take up to 15% of all repaid monies. The average that most administrators throughout the state of Wisconsin take is 13%. We are proposing 5 so that more stays on the project side and can keep being invested in properties within the city. Any questions?
What did you say that the total loan pool is right now?
The total receivables is just over 500,000. It's $512,590.55.
And you do, what, how many projects a year?
In the last few years, it's only been about 1 a year. We have, through the city, because we haven't had a lot of funds available. And the revolving loan fund that's actually available is only about $5,000 right now. So that's all. The receivables is what's still out there to be repaid. What we actually have in the account to lend is only about $5,000. So we're not going to use a lot of it right now, but we have to have something in place as we do projects, and we never know when a loan is going to be repaid. You're welcome.
Are the funds only open or available to people who live in the city of Waupaca, or are we talking about Waupaca area?
Only in the city of Waupaca. Must be within the city limits.
Anybody else have any questions? You have a new contract in here explaining what Chris has just explained to us. And it's on page 47 and page 48. If you're okay with what she's explained. And I'm assuming Henry and the city attorney have had an opportunity to read it, and that's exactly what it says is what she said.
Just the one paragraph changes.
Yeah, we're okay.
I would think number 5.
Yeah, and that's marked in your packet too, which the paragraph that did get changed. It's under number 4, yeah. Or number 5, I'm sorry.
I make a motion for approval of the new contract with the changes under item 5.
Second.
Second.
I have a motion by Hagan, second by Keelan, that we approve of this new contract with CAP Services for the administrative change necessary. Any discussion? Sandy will call the roll.
Alan Keeland,
Aye.
Paul Mayo,
Aye.
Deb Fensky,
Aye.
Scott Perchatsky,
Aye.
Dave Peterson,
Aye.
Paul Hagan,
Aye.
Steve Hackett,
Aye.
Jillian Peterson, and Eric Olson.
Aye.
9 ayes, motion carried.
Right, thank you. Thanks, Chris. Next, you have license report number 1254. This is an operator's license. I trust everyone received the email that Sandy sent you. If you did, I'll download your packet before today.
I changed it on the internet, I corrected it, so it's correct as of now if you're on,
Yeah, but if you downloaded it before that and saved it,
and saved it. There were additional license
you
reports.
might have some additional license
Which
reports.
don't belong.
Yeah, the only one that should be here is 1254. Okay, so if we have if we're okay with that, then we need a motion to approve this license report.
Second.
Motion by Peterson, second by Hackett, that we approve of license report number 1254. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carried. Communications, recommendations of the mayor, just a couple things. We have a couple of public hearings coming up next Tuesday, city planning. And again, I just want to repeat this a couple times to you. Next Tuesday, because normally city planning is the second Wednesday of the month, but we did change it so it is actually on the second Tuesday, and the time is different too. It's at 5 o'clock, and that will have a public hearing before the City Planning Commission, and it has to do with the Bethany Home Project. So council members, you obviously are welcome to attend that. meeting, there will not be a public hearing in front of city council, so you'll either want to be at this meeting or be able to see any discussion that might happen. There might not be any, but just thought I'd let you know.
What time are the public hearings? Are those at 5? And
The
then
public hearing's at 5, planning commission's at as soon as it can be.
Okay.
After that. Absolutely. And then on the 18th, which is our next regular scheduled city council meeting, we do have a public hearing for the budget, and that's at
5:45.
okay, so we're going to start 15 minutes early, so you'll want to be here at least 15 minutes early for that meeting. And then one other item I wanted, and as I read through the minutes and of our packet and so on, I was looking at the Downtown Vision Committee, and for whatever reason, I'm not sure why, but we had about 50% attendance at that meeting, so I'm not sure why that was, but we have to make sure that we get the word out that we want to make sure that all members that are a part of that attend that. If they can't, then they should send a alternate representative to that meeting, although it's not an official voting committee for the city. It's very important that we get the widespread opinions of all of these people that are on there. I keep thinking coffee and cake might have helped to get additional people there, but who knows?
I can say that we had 4 excused absences for that meeting, so I was aware of 4 of them actually. But
Yeah, I think if you know that, I think you should ask them if they could just send an alternate.
Okay.
And you know, some businesses just can't do that, but in some cases, you know, they are a member of other groups and they could certainly send an alternate along with. Okay, anything else for the good of the council meeting tonight? I really don't want to let you out before 7 now, so. No, I'm just kidding.
Move to adjourn.
Okay, we have a motion by Keelan and a second by
we got to get the clock.
Hagan. That we adjourn till our next regular scheduled meeting. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carried. We are adjourned at 6:43 p.m. Thanks everybody for attending and watching.